He's been reprimanded 17 times for not disclosing things to Parliament. To be in receipt of that amount of a tax-free gift is beyond the scale of what we've seen before in politics. Nobody before has taken this amount of money as a personal gift from donors while still being in the top job. So it's this sense of grift, if you like, that this is a Trumpian style way of self-enriching as well as doing politics.
Now, the Reform UK leader, Nigel Farage, is facing fresh questions now over the transparency of his finances. A Times investigation reports that he now owns 5 mortgage-free homes with his partner. Only 2 were declared to Parliament, and Farage says his declarations comply with parliamentary rules. Fraser Nelson is with me now here in the studio, the Times columnist. Hi to you, Fraser.
Hi, Joe.
So what do you think? The news of Nigel Farage's property interests and earnings, they just keep on piling up. What do you think? Do the scale of these revelations and the considerable wealth that they represent, does that amount to a political problem for Farage, aside from questions of registration?
Well, this is very interesting. I mean, being stinkingly rich has not really stopped reform so far. I mean, they are easily the kind of richest party that there is. I mean, Zia Youssef is a multi-millionaire. Richard Tice, Robert Jenrick's got almost as many houses as Nigel Farage. So this is a party which has never really pretended to be a party of paupers. So just because Nigel Farage is revealed to have 5 homes, there's no necessarily mean he's going to be in political problems. But the question is more where he got his money from. And I'll tell you why that matters. He declared in 2017 that he was skint. That's the word he used. Now, from then, he's gone to being skint to having 5 properties, 4 of them bought with cash. Now, how did he manage that? Of course, we know he got £5 million gift, shall we say, from the Thai billionaire Christopher Harborne. But where did the others come from? He hasn't never actually said whether he was offered other gifts. He's never actually said whether there are other similar style donations, which he hasn't told us about. And I think that is where the questions are going to come. And
we've seen in the past, at any rate, that evasion and any sort of whiff or suspicion of a cover-up is often much more damaging than the original facts of the case.
Yes, and now we saw with this sort of rather calamitous media round a few days ago that every time he goes into a studio now, he gets asked about the £5 million. Are there more such donations? Are you going to be cleared? The parliamentary authorities are deciding whether he broke the rules in not declaring it. So that is dogging him in a way which seems to inhibit his media appearances. He's far less ubiquitous than he used to be. The press conferences are coming a lot more seldom. And also we're beginning to hear now, whispers that maybe he'll walk away, maybe he'll give it up, maybe this is just a money-making enterprise for him, and when it runs up too much against Farage Inc., then Farage Inc. will take precedence. Now, we'll have to see if that's true. I mean, apart from anything else, I mean, Reform's now down at 26 points in the polls. That's about 5 or 6 points down from where it was pre-the defections. That's when things started to go wrong for it. But then again, it's still more popular than any other political party. And of course, it's going to go through turbulence. I don't think it was ever going to rush to be the number 1 party and stay there. So I think there's a danger of reading too much into this. It's just that it all seems to keep coming, these disclosures which raise questions about where the money came from. Why was it put through a personal services company? Why is it all through Thorn in the Side Inc.? What about stamp duty that MPs are supposed to pay? What about having this constituency home in his wife's name? These questions, let's remember, dogged Angela Rayner and saw her being removed from one of the most powerful positions there are in the Labour Party. So, I think this has got quite some time to run.
And the Standards Commissioner at Westminster still has a very big voice in all of this, looking at the question of the £5 million gift from the crypto billionaire Christopher Harborne and deciding whether that should have been declared. And the rules, they're pretty clear, that a sum of money acquired in the year before going into Parliament, that is declarable. And the thing that clouds it from Farage's account is that he decided to leave politics during that period when he was not a politician or considering being one. That's when the gift came, so he thought it shouldn't have been declared. It's up to the Commissioner to decide whether that's the case or not. And an adverse finding could be significant.
Well, yes, but to be honest, I don't think it's that significant. I mean, even if he is cleared, the fact remains he took £5 million from a crypto billionaire whose industry he intends to do huge favours for if he got in power. That remains. I think for the average voter, that is more important than whether he broke the Commons rules not disclosing things. He's been reprimanded 17 times for not disclosing things to Parliament. To be in receipt of that amount of a tax-free gift is beyond the scale of what we've seen before in politics. Nobody before has taken this amount of money as a personal gift from donors while still being in the top job. So it's this sense of grift, if you like, that this is a Trumpian style way of self-enriching as well as doing politics. And by the way, it didn't hurt Berlusconi, it didn't hurt Donald Trump, whose family are all getting very rich out of crypto deals. Maybe Nigel Farage thinks this won't hurt him either, and he could be right.
Yeah.
Maybe the public don't really care. Maybe his core voters, maybe people like you and me, John, may think, oh, this is unusual, this isn't appropriate. Maybe the voters just don't care. But nonetheless, this is a significant new model being brought into our politics. People don't tend to get rich from politics. They tend to make their money before it, they tend to make the money after it, but to make the money during it. This is a Faragist innovation we're seeing to our system.
And there's also a potential physical consequence of being found against by the Standards Commissioner. If there's a sanction sufficiently severe to cause a suspension from the House of Commons, then you're looking possibly at a recall petition in the Clacton constituency, a by-election. And I don't know, how do you call that at this stage?
Well, I have to say, Clacton is probably the number one Reform seat. Now, some people say, look at Rupert Lowe's Restore party. Restore could supplant Reform if there was a by-election in Clacton. But I would be very surprised if that happens. I mean, there are some... Look, we know why Robert Jenrick isn't having a by-election. We know why Denny Kruger isn't having a by-election. They'd probably lose if they were to seek democratic consent for the switch of parties. Nigel Farage, unlike the other two, is there fair and square. He stood as a Reform MP, he won as a Reform MP. That hasn't changed. So I'd be very surprised if the Clacton people think he's broken a deal with them. I think they knew what they were getting when he stood for Parliament. I don't think that's... The others, of course, the Jenrick's voters thought they were voting Conservative. Of course he doesn't dare face them. But I don't think Farage himself is at risk at Clacton, though it's strange that we're even having this conversation.
Fascinating, Fraser. Thanks so much. Fraser Nelson there.